Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this December the 9th. And Ron Wong sitting in, as he always does, on the second Saturday of each month. And then we come back to what we call BW, Bonus Wong, on the fourth Saturday, and that's getting pretty close to Christmas time show there. I can tell you that for a fact. But we're going to talk to the gentleman next on what has been on here many times, been a longtime supporter of this show, has given out some free passes for people to go to what I think is one of the prime destination places in Tennessee, and that's the Tennessee Aquarium and the IMAX Theater over in Chattanooga. It's always good to talk to Thom Benson. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning, Tom. How are you?
He's doing good, man. He's at a paradise place over there.
I tell you, he is.
Yeah. And we're going to talk to Tom not only about what's going on at the aquarium, which is always something to. If you're looking for a special Christmas gift, or you want to go someplace for the Christmas holidays, they got it. They're not going to be open Christmas. Don't expect to see Tom out in front hawking tickets or anything like that. But it is a destination. But I wanted to talk to Tom, because earlier he had sent out some what I thought was really interesting press release about the drought. And I know we were in a drought. North Mississippi's in terrible conditions. We're getting some rain this weekend. We got some rain recently that I think elevated it from severe drought to drought, Tom. So talk about, and that affects you guys, particularly on the Tennessee River and the research you guys do. Talk about that.
Yeah, so this has been a really extraordinary year. If you remember back earlier in the spring, we had a lot of rain.
Yes,
we were doing really good.
Yeah.
I think all the crops in West Tennessee were looking good. But as we started getting into fall, which is normally our driest time of year, we started running into shortfalls, and those really started adding up. And we went through a period here in Chattanooga where we went 72 days with less than a half an inch of rain.
72 days.
Wow.
And that starts getting really critical. I live up on Sequatchie County, and I've got woods around my house, and I was really getting concerned because we were drier this year than we were in 2016, and that was the year that Gatlinburg caught on fire.
Yes, it was.
And, we had a number of brush fires across the state. I think there were some out around the Memphis area. But we were starting to see them here, and fortunately, the firefighters and the planes and helicopters that were dumping water in our region were doing an excellent job containing those fires, but it was really getting into a critical situation. We have since had a couple of rounds of rain, and that's helped. But as you mentioned, a large part of Tennessee has gone from the worst drought category, exceptional drought, to extreme, and now we're borderline here in Chattanooga between severe and extreme. There's still a couple of counties that most of the county is under that D3 or extreme drought category, according to the U.S. Drought Monitor. West Tennessee is in a moderate to severe drought, and that stretches, as you mentioned, into northern Mississippi. So we're still behind on rainfall, but it's looking a lot better than it was, back in November.
And you also talk about, that this not only affects the farmers and all these people like that. Sometimes we forget about the fish, and particularly those that are dangerously in close to not being around. And you guys really keep track of that, I know.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, your listeners are very in tune with all of these things.
Yeah.
We're very blessed right here in the Southeast. We've got most of the freshwater fishes in North America are right here in Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, parts of Mississippi, and up into Kentucky and Virginia and the Carolinas. So we've got a lot of very special animals. Anybody who spends time in the outdoors, fishing and hunting, appreciates what we have. And so when we have these situations, nature can be very resilient. But if you're in a situation where your population is already on the brink of extinction, these kind of events can be really devastating. And what we're talking about is these smaller, very colorful fish. They're beautiful species that live on the ridges leading into the Great Valley that Chattanooga is in, so what we call Walden's Ridge.
That's it.
And these are the headwater streams that feed the main stem Tennessee Tennessee, and all of your listeners know how important those headwater streams are. If they're healthy and they've got great populations of a wide variety of fish, that means that the main stem of these streams, where our game fish and our sport fish are going to be doing good. So the drought causes a couple of problems, the obvious one being the lack of water, and these pools are separated, and so there's no opportunity for the fish to move back and forth in a headwater stream. And your audience will also understand that there's a thermal problem there, because this time of year we can get cold at night and really warm during the day. And when there's lower water, that water heats and cools more efficiently, and that's stressful. And then we always try to tell people, imagine if everybody in your block moved into your house. That would be very stressful on you. The resources would be more challenged. And so that's what's happening with these fish. When the water dries up, they move into the pools, and they're all bunched together. And on top of that, if you've got a hungry raccoon or a heron,
that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner all at the same time.
Exactly. They can find, so there's disease, thermal problems, just general stress, and then there's predators that can happen. And so we have been watching the situation. Again, fortunately, things have turned around, and we haven't had to go to the extreme that we had several years ago, where we actually went up there and collected the fish out of these pools and brought them into our care at the aquarium to make sure that they didn't go extinct. And then once conditions improved, we transport them back. But that comes with a lot of, it takes expertise, man hours, and risk, because, it's stressful to move those fish back and forth like that. And so, we're thankful that, one, some of these pools were spring fed, and that helped keep the oxygen level and to some degree the thermal profile even, and we didn't have to go to those extraordinary measures to try saving some of these fish. But it's earlier in the year, I think it was back in September, the water flows on some of the streams that TWRA puts rainbow trout into for fishermen, they had to curtail those releases because there wasn't enough water. So this started way back at sort of the end of August and into September, but it really got bad in October and November.
Yeah, again, we're talking to Thom Benson, Tennessee Aquarium Communication Marketing Officer in Chattanooga. And I got to throw in, Thom, being an ex-TV weatherman, I know you spent a lot of time. Meteorologist, yes, a meteorologist. I don't know if you were chief or minor or whatever, but I do know that you keep track of the weather. This has been some unusual weather this year. I mean, we had storms when we don't normally have storms. We had weather when we don't normally have weather. And we don't really think about fish populations and critter populations, things along that line. What's your take on the weather patterns, Thom?
Yeah, what's this winter going to be like?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good question, because the El Nino pattern and the opportunities for these sort of big surges of cold air to come down. I think personally, we have not had a big ice storm situation, and this to me looks like one of those situations where we could have some Gulf moisture come up over a very shallow layer of cold air, and we probably may not see a big snow event, but I would think that we're kind of due for an ice storm of some form across.
Thom Benson predicted it on December the 9th. I'm not going back to 1994 in Memphis again, Thom. It was bad over here when those ice storms.
That was really bad.
A 1-inch blizzard shuts us down. We
had a really bad ice storm over here in '96.
Okay, so
I've been in Chattanooga since '95, and that one was, we were breaking power lines all over the place, and so these things are concerns. And I'll tell you, the other thing that's been interesting, Larry, is
what's that?
Before I came to Chattanooga, I was a meteorologist in West Texas, and in the late '80s, early '90s. You had more of the big tornadoes were sort of focused in that traditional tornado alley from north central Texas up through Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska.
That's right, yeah.
And where has it been now?
It's moving
30
east.
years later.
It's moving
and so
east.
You guys have been dealing with a lot of that rough weather and bigger storms and more prolific storms than what we've had historically. And one final note about weather and climate change, they just revised the plant map.
So
the zone map, when you go to the garden center and will this, work in my zone hardiness, they've actually increased that, and those plant hardiness zones have moved north because things are, getting warmer.
Wow.
That's interesting because, ice is so much worse than snow.
Yeah, we have trouble driving on snow, but ice is impossible.
Causes a lot more different problems.
And we're known for our trees. Our trees. And we're making an effort in Memphis right now to cut back trees to get them off the power line. I wanted to get into that because, at least we think about Christmas time and fun times, Tom.
And what do you guys got there?
Yeah, you got some good stuff going, I know.
Well, we've been having a lot of fun with Scuba Claus diving on weekends.
Yes.
He makes appearances there, so that's a big thing for the families. We've got the Polar Express 3D. That film has been a family tradition for a lot of folks. They just love coming and seeing it on that giant 6-story screen. Mm-hmm. And, really this time of year, I think, is a favorite for our staff as much as it is for our guests, because we get a chance to see people coming in, relaxing and having a good time with their families and making memories. And it's really a
wearing pajamas. You got people wearing pajamas and showing up there.
They do. Yeah, they come for the PJs and Polar Express, and
that's cool.
And they have a big time. And it's just really fun to think that you're helping somebody else make some lasting memories. And we had a mom not too long ago say, you should buy an aquarium membership because she wanted her kids to make more memories with aunts and uncles and grandparents. Yeah. And it's more about the experiences than things.
Yeah, Tom, we have about 15 seconds left. If somebody wants more information about the Tennessee Aquarium, where do they go?
Yep, TNAQUA, TNAQUA.org, or just TennesseeAquarium.com. You'll find us right there.
That's great. Tom, always good to have you on the show, buddy. We'll talk again. If I don't talk to you, happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you, buddy. Okay?
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you, too, and thanks again for this opportunity.
All right, we're sending all the ice storms to Chattanooga. Okay, all right. All right, Tom, have a great day. All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray and be right back.